Hi, Beerfox here, and today I'm just going to be playing a little bit more Hearthstone. I'm playing a warlock deck at the moment, a control deck, which basically I've ripped off from a Team Liquid website. I'm not ashamed to admit it. It's got me quite far. Well, it's got me from, I think, gold to diamond, where it's maybe starting to show its cracks a bit. But anyway, let's have a look. Not a great start. Well, we could leave Blood Mage Thalnos in because we've got a 1 and a 2. They don't want the Demon Fire right now. Might turn out to be a bad decision. We've rolled against the Rogue. Instead of the Demon Fire, we've got Mortal Coil. So we'll see, because Rogues have a lot of removal as well. So we're just going to go straight in with very pleasant play so far. Straight in with the Argent Squire. She's a 1-1. Oops, I just entered. She's a 1-1 and she just gets a shield on, so a cheap card. The point of this deck is to maintain board control more than anything else, really, and not go too far ahead of yourself. See, that thing needs taking out pretty soon. It's not brilliant, and I am going to just... I can't, actually, because I can't target it with spells. A bit of a ball ache. I could hit it, no, because again I can't hit it with spells, so I've been a total noob. Just trying to think what I would play here then. You know what, I'm going to play Blood Mage Thalnos and not even think about it. Just to get another card more than anything else. Although he is better saved for spells because that now does 2 damage. But obviously not to that fucker. So we shall see. So Dagger Mastery straight away from Fluffy Kitty. Takes out Blood Mage Thalnos, takes the damage to the face, and I get a Novice Engineer. So again, it's another and again. So Fluffy Kitty, maybe not as her name implies, is a wee bit aggressive, shall we say? So that's fine though. So we're going to draw a Novice Engineer now and just see what we've got, and it's a Voidy, so that's fine. So we'll pop down a taunt, and we'll just hit Fluffy in the face there. Let's see what else she has got this round. I'm presuming it's a female with a name like that. That's very presumptuous of me in this politically correct day and age. Could be one of those ironic names, I suppose. So he's dropped down, or she's dropped down a Loot Hoarder. When he dies, gets another card, basically. There's another Voidy. I could get rid of him now because he's 2 damage and just give Fluffy a card, but well, it's going to happen sooner or later anyway, quite frankly. I'd get rid of this thing straight away because you just don't want them to become more than their total worth, really. I'm going to put down another Voidy, and maybe against my better judgment I'm going to go in with a Flame Imp, and to draw another card I'm just going to use Mortal Coil on that. I get Defender of Argus for my troubles. He gets a card because it's dead. That's its death rattle. That's the end of that turn because I've got fuck all left I can do. At the moment it's looking great guns for me, but you just don't know with the Rogue. I mean, Backstab, so there goes. He was the most dangerous card, so that was a wise manoeuvre. She's absolutely fuck all, but it's 1 damage and it draws a card, so I handed that to on a plate. He's got the card advantage. Backstab again, so there we go. So very cheaply he's managed to really clear my deck, and that's what Rogues excel at. So maybe me trying to keep on top, but he's card starving me a little bit now. But on me. Right, so I could pump him up another 2-2 and get rid of that thing quite easily, and it wouldn't, I don't think it'd die now because it'd give him 5. So I think that's what we're going to probably go into. So drop the Novice Engineer, get another card, which is some Shattered Cleric. Not worth using right now. I could live tap, but I'm not going to. I'm going to give Voidy the old 3-5 and just get rid of that and keep him in play as a taunt. That's it for that turn so far. So we're about equal health, but he's already used a lot of early removals. So he's going to hit in that self and like sacrifice 3 health, then shiv it, so he can draw another card. So he's got no shivs left. I believe that's 2 of those he's played. We're getting to the point where your minion decks won't tend to have 1 health anyway, so it's wise to use them early. Shadow Flame handy, but not at this point in time. It kills a minion, but it basically deals its attack to all enemies. He hasn't got any at the moment on the board. She gives a 1/1, not really worth giving to a novice engineer. He gives adjacent taunt plus 1/1, again not really worth it, so we're just going to live tap. Not ideal. That's only minion damage, so I can't hit her in the face with that. Just to get something on the board, I'll probably just use her, which is probably a bit of a bum move, but it puts a 3/3 on the board, gives that to 2/3. It's better than a kick up the arse, I suppose. If they don't die, I can Defender of Argus on the next turn, but it's not really ideal. Well, we'll see. I mean, she's up to 6/6, so lots of horrors can come out of the bag now. I'm still semi-confident at this point. So it's the old Sen'jin Shieldmaster Tazdingo, and he's a taunt, a 3/5 taunt, relatively cheap. Hits me in the face there with the moves, and silences the extra damage basically, and the extra health that the cleric's given. Not too bad. I could use as Divine and just get straight rid of the... no, I can't because it's only got... But I could sacrifice her and then use that. A little point in using Defender of Argus at this point, I think, really. No demons to pump up. Not much point in using that. So I think the play here is just going to be sacrifice her and then charge in with him. So we cleared that, and then just hit him in the face. I should maybe have got rid of the owl. That could be turned into something nasty. You just don't know. But that's the luck of the draw, I suppose. If it doesn't get rid of these this time, which I'm pretty sure it probably will. Oh no. That is going to get rid of that. That's wise, because I would have. That's a bit annoying, because I was going to give a 1/1 and just sacrifice it myself. I can still get rid of it. It's no big deal. We're up to 8/8. We start getting to dangerous territory now. Eep. So I'm just going to live tap, actually. It's a knife juggler. Could be worse. Could be worse. So if we pop him down, and then, oh god, I'm thinking, can I play? No, I can't play both. I've kind of stuffed up there. I'm going to use the Demon Fire to take the taunt down, and then I'm just going to take it out and sacrifice that. Not too bad a play, because I'm hoping he's going to maybe use something rather large or expensive to get rid of the Knife Juggler, because he doesn't want it there. I'm not massively bothered about losing the Knife Juggler, although always a pleasure if they stay in place. If he doesn't next turn, the Sun Shattered Cleric will go down, and I'll probably stick the Defender of Argos in between them. They go straight for me. It depends what we get. So we've got Soulfire, so we could get rid of him straight away. We're going to lose a random card, and we risk losing Lord Jaraxxus, who's a bit of a fallback card. So what I'm going to do... Actually, this is going to work, actually. So I'm going to give him that 4/3, throws out a knife, and I'm going to stick the old Defender in between. Throws another knife into his face. He's still going to die, unfortunately. But I've got to get rid. So, and I don't really want to use that, and we're going to live tap as well. It's another Knife Juggler. So we'll see, because you can guarantee if I use Soulfire, what it does is it does 4 damage, spell damage to whatever you want, but you lose. So there's Assassinate. You lose a random card, and you can guarantee it'd be Jaraxxus. He's going for my face again. Don't know what he's sitting on. He's only sitting on 4 cards, but I mean, he could have a legendary in there. Some hideous legendary. There are some really nasty ones. So it's a bit of a, to be fair. So we're going to stick, should we? I'm going to live tap, fuck it. This is a Blood Imp, so it wasn't a bad play. So we're going to stick Knife Juggler down. Then we're going to just put her down because it's a cheap minion. He throws a knife straight into the face. And then we're going to pump them all up. And that's another knife. And then we're just going to hit him in the face with that. And he's down to 7. I could hit him with this now. But it's unlikely he can do 14 damage straight to me, but having said, there's some nasty things. So Saps, Knife Juggler comes back to me. What else does Fluffek it have? So that's the Assassin's Blade. Perhaps can he put poison on it? It's a Fiery Dragon. If he doesn't kill any of these this time, this is the game. Because we've got, I think we've got lethal damage on the board. I could be wrong. 3, 4, 5. Yes, we have. Well, Well, we have anyway. So there was a number of ways we could have won there. Power Overwhelming was just one of them. So that is that game. So let's have a look at the deck now that I just used. Like I say, unashamedly ripped off. It's one of the Team Liquid builds, I believe, if you want to go and check it out. So we start off, let's have a look. So we've got Soulfire here. Obviously deals 4 damage, and you discard a random card. That's 4 damage to anything, so that's to the opponent's face, what have you. You can guarantee if it's going to discard a random card, it's probably one you want. A good time to play it is obviously when it's the only card left in the deck, nothing left to discard. This synergizes and works well with any plus spell power. This deck doesn't have any of that in apart from your old Blood Mage Thalnos. He doubles up quite nicely, that'll turn it to a 5 damage. Mortal Coil, it deals 1 damage, and if it kills it, it gives you a card back. This deck's kind of built around like getting more cards in, and there's a lot of low cost cards, as you can see. This works well with several things, but it's a nice, chip something down to 1. You can even use it on your own card if you want. So if you'd used Power Overwhelming on something, gives it the 4/4 turn. So you can do your attack. It's going to die at the end of the next turn, and if you've hit something and it's popped it down to 1 health, which is rare, but it might have done if you've hit a big enemy, then you could sacrifice it. Rare, but it could happen. Argent Squire, cheap, speaks for itself, great card, synergizes well obviously with a Knife Juggler and what have you, and obviously benefit from like the Imp and what have you, but it just puts your opponent on a bit of a back foot, especially considering it's really cheap and it's got a shield and they can get out of control quick, so a couple of them in there. Blood Imps, stealth, and give your other minions, plus all your other minions, 1 health. Imber, absolutely brilliant card. Stealth can't be targeted. It can be taken out with AoE, or like a Knife Juggler could randomly target it as well. But apart from that, it can't be taken out directly. Flame Imp, cheap and cheerful, but his battle cry is he does 2 damage to you. But he is worth it. He's really good, and he can certainly be pumped up by various other things, so it's worth it when I get to it. There it is. It can be pumped up nicely by Demon Fire, which turns him into quite a formidable opponent, and that's why you will notice opponents probably trying to get rid of that as quick as possible. Voidy, again, cheap and cheerful, your bog standard taunt, always a couple of them in there, nice to hide stuff behind. People will go out of the way probably to get rid of them as well, obviously to get to you or other cards, and well worth it for a 1 cost for a 1/3. These are unique to the Warlock. Again, can be pumped up by Demon Fire, so they can soon get out of control as well, especially if you've got 2 Demon Fires in the deck in your hand. I've had them pretty much win matches for me before, and it's been an early end game. Blood Mage Thalnos, he's just a cheap little rascal really. He's a 1/1, he costs 2, he gives +1 spell damage while he's sat on the board, and his death rattle is he calls another card. Some players will silence him sometimes to starve you of that card. Whether it's worth the silence is debatable. Knife Juggler, cheap cost, especially for a 3/2, and a horrible little blighter, a couple of those in there. I tend to use them more nowadays as decoys, really. Basically, people will go out the way to get rid of him and use all sorts on him, and I'm not really bothered about him because the rest of the deck's kind of where I'm at with this. But if he does stay in play, especially if there's 2 of them, they're really handy if people leave them unattended. They can get really out of hand, and they synergize particularly well. I haven't got them in this deck actually, but Imp Masters, but that's a different story. But Novice Engineer speaks for itself, a cheap card. She draws a card. She's a 1/2. She's nothing really to worry about on the board, but still it puts it's cheap card presence. Shattered Sun Cleric gives battle cries, give a friendly minion 1/1. You can't say fairer than that. A couple of them in there, especially for a 3 draw. Shadow Flame. This basically destroys a friendly minion and deals its attack to all enemy minions, and this is Imber, because it only gets rid of 1 of yours, and it basically AoE wipes out the rest of them. Now, here's a nice little trick with this. I'm going to jump ahead to Sylvanas. Her death rattle is to take control of a random enemy minion. So and she does 5 attacks. So if there's something big on the board, I've had it before where like my opponent's pulled out a massive, a massive legendary card or something like that, and you think, oh no, but you've had her in your deck. and you've basically got Shadow Flame in your deck as well. All you do is pop her down that very same turn, use Shadow Flame and kill her that very same turn. She'll die and she'll steal it straight from your opponent. Same with, you could actually drop Power Overwhelming on it, because at the end of that turn she will die and she'll steal what's on the opponent's board. If the opponent's got a lot of cards on the board, RNG kicks in and you're probably going to end up picking at the fucking 1/1 up or something like that. Happened to me many a time. But a nice little synergy there, and a pain in the arse really. So that's Shadow Flame, like explained anyway. Dark Iron Dwarf, for a 4-cost Imber card, give a minion +2 attacks, his Battlecry, and he's a 4/4 himself. Great against Priest because he's a 4/4. Defender of Argus. Careful when you're using him against Priest, because it gives a minion, adjacent minions 1/1, so if they're on 4 attack or something, you put them up to 5, you're just handing them on a plate really. But great against a lot of other heroes, to be honest. And 2 minions turned into taunts and given +1/1. I've had many a person just quit when they see him come out late game. Azure Drake, a 4/4 for a 5-cost, but he draws a card and he gives you spell damage +1, so worth having one of those in. Sylvanas, we've just explained really. Also, Sylvanas might be worth playing even if you haven't got anything to kill her off with. Just, especially in a later game, if they haven't got anything on the board, it makes them think, well, they might be about to play something big and think, but I can't use it this turn, and then next turn he's just going to smash into it with her, kill it, and steal it, and it kind of blocks them. So it's like a good blocker as well as a bit of a surprise card later on. Argent Commanders, expensive at 6, but we can turn a later game into your favour if a couple of these pop up. I tell you, charge and Divine Shield and do 4 damage, brilliant. And last but not least, our old friend Lord Jaraxxus. If it gets to the point where you're playing him, sometimes you can argue you've probably already lost. But he has saved me a few times. Basically, he replaces your hero with Lord Jaraxxus and gives you 15 health. And his special power is to summon up 6/6 Infernals that cost 2 mana, which is Imber, and they just stay on your deck. He's a pain in the arse, and I've got having many of friends swear at me when he's come out. Be warned, however, if you're playing against another Warlock and he has Sacrificial Pact, I do believe he can just one-shot you with it. So a bit dangerous. Not that I've ever seen it happen, luckily. So that's the Warlock control deck. Thanks for watching. I'm Beerfox. Take it easy.